I wanted to bring up how you also do this like off-road truck stuff. I'm very ignorant when it comes to it.
So it's not off-road. You talking about the Ranger stuff?
Okay, yeah.
Get in truck, be done.
Welcome back to the #1 Drift podcast on YouTube. I am Dawson, and today we have...
Hello, I'm Derek Madison.
Hey,
what's up, everybody?
Appreciate you coming on. Oh,
what's up,
Jasper's going to come love on you a little bit. Well, while he's doing that, I'll hit the rest of the intro. So, before we get into it, don't forget, look below the video. If that subscribe button is still red, go ahead and click that, and go ahead and hit the bell notification along with it so you never miss an episode. But if you do want to be the highlight of the outro, don't forget you can make a reel on Instagram and tag me in it, and the one with most likes at the end of the week will be the highlight. But that's really all I got. So if you want to kind of introduce yourself a little bit.
Sick. So
to anyone who may not know you.
Yeah, I'm Derek Madison. I've been in Formula Drift ProSpec for 5 years. It's a really long time to be in ProSpec, but we're working on it. I started drifting back in 2012. I think I got my
you've been in it for a while.
Facebook memories hit me the other day, and I was like, damn, I've been driving for that long.
Fuck those Facebook memories, dude.
Yeah, dude. And my friend just fist bumped me. He's like, yeah, we're the OGs. I'm like, no, we're the OGs. We're old, dude. But no,
the Godfathers.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride, man. I'm just a privateer dude who goes to work 8 to 5, and then I go back and work on my race car pretty much every day, every weekend. And
where do you work?
I actually work for Fuelab now.
Oh, okay.
I worked for O'Reilly's for the first 4 years of FD and everything. I just had a ton of vacation built up. But Fuelab hired me halfway through last year. You know, they had their sales guy move on to it. He worked part-time at the Anheuser-Busch, and he went there full-time. And
gotcha.
So they were like, hey, you want a job? Every time I'd come in, because they're right up the road from me. And that's kind of what started that sponsorship. And every time I'd come in, they're like, you want a job? You want a job? And at one point, I was just like, you know what? Screw it. I've been really hating my job lately. And so I made the change. It's been great, man.
Tired of these slow-ass computers.
Yeah, for real.
Dude, every O'Reilly's is that way.
Oh, dude, it's the worst. They're living in the past. But
yeah.
So Fuelab's been great. You know, they're my title sponsor currently. They're great guys. Small company where there's only 10 of us. One of the guys on my race teams works there now with me as well, building fuel pumps. So it's a fun experience.
From an outsider perspective, I would never guess that they're like a small company.
We hear that all the time.
They don't show it.
Because we do a pretty good job. You know, Megan does a great job at marketing, and Tanner puts us on the right people's cars and gets us in the right events. And, you know, they're solid. And when it comes to sales, we do pretty well. You know, we got good partnerships with Turn 14, Motor State Distributing, and they do a really good job pushing us out there. Big purchasers of ours. We love those guys, and but it's fun. I like working there. I've always wanted to get in the automotive aftermarket, so it's cool we made it there.
Sick. How do you go about sponsorships and stuff like that?
You know,
what's your approach?
I get better and better every year because I'm real bad at telling people how great I am. It's seems like a douchey thing to do. So
it seems very natural for drifters, though. That's the normal thing, it seems.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm getting better at it, and I've got a really in-depth proposal. I've got a lot of compliments on mine, but they were very, very basic, but they were to the point and keep people involved. And my media guy, Jason, did mine this year, and it looks really good. It looks a lot more professional. And I don't know what it is, but it's been going pretty well this year so far.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a lot of good long-term partnerships, so it's almost easy for me because I'm just like, hey, guys, I love you. Thanks for everything. You want to do this again? And they're like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
you seem to be keeping up with media a lot more.
Yeah. Well, the hard thing is that Jason. Well, I guess the good thing is that Jason is here. It's hard to do this and just remember to video because
oh yeah,
I like fun stuff. Drifting's fun. I just want to have fun. So I'm like, oh shit, I didn't film anything today. And Jason's like, get out of your chair.
This.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think about it at the track.
Exactly. Yeah. And so him coming on board was a huge change for our program. He's always got his camera in our faces, and he's making sure he gets those background things. And, you know, I was just talking the other day. He's like, he catches like pictures of the ride, you know?
Yeah.
That's the one thing we all miss. We all so focused on like that end goal, whether it be FD or like Instagram fame or like whatever it is for whoever.
I miss when Instagram was pictures only.
Yeah. And now we're just like, he captures like the ride part of it to where it's like, you start and then you're there and like all the in-between stuff, you're like, shit, I don't have any pictures of me and my boys or like any of this stuff. It's just like pictures of my car. And so he captures all that stuff. So staying on top of media is all Jason, 100%.
That's good though.
That's sick.
You got somebody doing it. That's important.
Yeah, you have to. It's definitely helpful. But I guess off the beaten path there, my approach for sponsor stuff, I just have a good intro, tell them who I am, what I do, what I can provide for them. The big thing is just like, you almost just got to ask people is what I've learned. You just got to say, hey, here's what I want. Here's what I'm willing to provide. You know, if that doesn't line up with you perfectly, like what can you do for me? And what can I do for you to like make you like thankful or think that I'm doing a good enough job for you? And I've been asking that question like more this year than I ever had. Like, what do you guys look for from me? Like,
that's
what do you
I've
want? And they're like,
found is very important.
Wow, funny you asked that. You know, thanks for asking. And it gives me the opportunity to deliver too. Yeah. Because sometimes we think we're doing great, but no one's there to tell us we didn't do great. And then the next year they're like, sorry, it just didn't really work out for us. Like, well, damn, I wish I would have known what I could have done better. But no, things have gone really well with the proposal and everything.
What are some key things that you feel like absolutely should be in your proposal?
Obviously, you want your social media reach. That's what everybody cares about these days. Hype that up as much as you can. If you've got some big popped off videos, like with some high viewership, like we've got a couple in like the high 100,000s and millions. And so we just pop those, a screenshot of them on there just so they can see like, okay, maybe not everything is big. Like I've only got like 11,000 on Instagram, but we do have videos that pop off, you know? So you show them that. And
this
then
is a good thing about short form stuff now.
Right.
The algorithm's wild.
Exactly. And that's sick. And another thing, just your ask. And for that ask, what your deliverable is going to be. So like we have like 3 partnership levels. Like we've got just our standard basic one. We've got an intermediate and we've got our title. And everything from like the basic one goes through all 3. And then you just add more like important deliverables. Like some people want commercials. Like one of my big partners is like Fram, Autolite, their First Brands Group, all those guys, Trico, those guys. They almost could care less if they're on the car. Like it's cool. Like they want to be on the car.
That seems like every company now.
Yeah, but they want Instagram reels, and they don't want to be the company that's posting that boring corporate shit. They want to have somebody who's out there, even like the wiper blade videos. They're like, go outside in the rain, just do something fun. Like I don't care, something that's like different. And I'm like, all right, cool. And
the Walmart videos, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
They're so simple to make. I'm sure.
Yeah, literally. I just walk in. It was Jason just followed me around as my experience to find the right filter and walk out, pay with. Like, so it was literally nothing.
People overcomplicate.
Yeah. And we went to his place and we voice overed at his studio and that was that. It was like the easiest video ever. So and I've got no problems with that. I enjoy being on camera. It's fun. Not a lot of people can do it. Not a lot of people want to talk or can talk very well. I've got no problem with it. I'll do it. So
I always try to say, if you're trying to go to more the competitive side of things, you better learn to love it or something. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah,
well, I'm looking at F1, for example. They're always got a camera in a driver's face, and those guys can all speak pretty well. And the ones that can are the ones that are everywhere on those short bits, you know, whether it be TikTok, Instagram, whatever. So got to be good.
Oh, yeah.
Got to be good.
Well, let's, I guess, branch off from that. Tell me about how this season went this year.
Bad.
Went
real bad. So
explain. Let's hear it.
I don't know. So my car is really basic. Like I've been competing in FD with basically a Pro-Am car for the last all 4 years until this year. We finally changed some stuff. My first year we didn't even have a dog box. That was the first thing that we put in the car. Our second year that like really changed everything. But like I'm 350Z diff. I was front radiator. Oh, wow. It's a Pro-Am car.
I didn't know it was still like that.
Yeah. So this year we did rear rad for the first time, and we made it. I'm not a fabricator, but I'm getting there. So
Amen
I can't
to
afford
that.
I can't afford to pay people, so I do it myself. I learned a lot. We cut the crap out of the car this year to where we could like shove it deeper into walls without getting
Nice.
sucked in. And I did like a full tub setup in the back and a little tube rear section. My buddy Tyler whipped up like the radiator mounts and stuff, and we really went all out. We had no time to test, so we went to Atlanta and we overheated our ass off because it was just one thing. You have to keep the thermostat in on LSs on rear rad, and I was instructed not to by somebody.
Wait,
and
why?
I don't know.
How does that make sense?
I don't know. I maybe I misunderstood. I really don't know. But I didn't have it in, and we overheated, and we got like no practice laps in. The whole team was arguing with each other, and it was just a real bad start to the year. And we were coming
kind of
out.
set the precedent. Didn't
Yeah,
it?
well, we were coming out in first place, you know, because we finished second last year, and Robert Thorne moved up. So by the numbers, it's our championship to win.
Yeah.
So we come out there, we toss it in. First lap, my side skirts weren't bolted on all the way, and they were bolted to the fenders front and back, but then it like comes out from under the door, and I see my side skirt like out my window, and it like tossed me like way off, and I was like, I finally like, I had to double initiate because I initiated and that happened, and I like stopped because I was like, oh, it's just my side skirts, and then I just get angry and just mash the gas.
As one does.
And that was my best lap all weekend.
Damn.
And I went downhill. So with the rear rad setup, the entire weight bias changed to the car a fair bit, you know, for the better, but my car setup was not right.
Yeah.
So we were changing shock settings, and like Schulman's trying to help us because he's got more experience with like doing all that stuff than the rest of us on the team. So we're like doing different stuff, and we don't get more than a lap or two without either A, overheating or having to make a change. We finally pulled it together to qualify like 17th or some dog shit.
Yeah.
And we ended up winning our 32 battle by default because he blasted off. And then 16 battle, like we finally, like we were good. Like the car was good. Everything was going well. And I was battling somebody, and he kind of parked it in the keyhole, but the fresh lights were still green on the car. I'm like, dude, the smoke was gone. And so I parked it, and yeah, so I straightened out, and that was pretty much it. And we weren't really used to going out in 16. So that kind of set the tone for the whole year. We had like mechanicals, arguments, go out early, and we're like, shh, this is not how this goes for us. And moving into Jersey, things went a lot better. You know, I literally, my first qualifying lap was like, it would have been P1. P1, no problem. Spun over the line. I'm like, what? Dude, you have spun out once a year, and you're going to do it in qualifying? Like, yeah. So that was
that's got to be one of the worst things too,
dude,
in drifting,
like
competitive drifting.
Yeah. And Deanda was like, Derek, what are you doing? And I'm like, yeah, it's just as embarrassing for me too. And we went back out. I played it safe, and I think I qualified like 29th. And I'm like, so I battled, or might have been 31st. Like, I think I had P2 on my top 32 battle. And we beat him, and I ended up losing to Cole Richards in 16. He won the whole event, so I guess I'll take that.
Not a bad loss.
Yeah, if you're going to lose to the winner. And St. Louis qualified third. Things were great. I wrecked my car and like totaled it twice. How the boys were able to bring it back together. Practice day, totaled it. I ran out of WSFAB, so I had an S13 front right control arm on my 14, which those don't really fit. So I did my best, and I qualified third.
What?
I don't know. Car still drove well. It was good. And
what a roller coaster so far.
Yeah, we went into practice again, and my car started missing in the first turn. So like focus off driving onto engine, trying to diagnose while driving.
That never works out.
Yeah. When to transition, like, you're going too fast. Just locked him up, slammed the wall. I hit so hard, they like made me get in the ambulance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're like, Mike was like, are you all right, dude? I'm like, I don't know. That shit hurt.
We're going to find out.
Yeah. And the boys got it back together right before a 32 battle, like literally like 4 minutes before. Yeah. And I drove it around the parking lot, and then literally my test drive was driving it right up to grid. And I battled my buddy Ryan O'Connor.
Shit.
We beat him, and it was a good lap. I lead and chase, so I'm like, I guess we're back. And in
gotta make something happen, I guess.
Yeah, 16 it started sprinkling right before our battle, so I tossed it in, dropped my right rear because it's a little slick, and I got smoked by Olson, which my fault, not his. Broke my knuckle, took me out, and then Utah was sick. We were driving pretty well.
I love Utah.
It was beautiful, dude.
I want to go there so
we had to be there last year like 5 a.m. all the teams were cussing. Like, what are we doing here right now? It's
Yeah.
stupid. And then the sun came up over the mountains, and everybody was like, okay,
Not too bad.
I'm cool with this. I get to see the beautiful sunrise over the mountains. Shit, we don't get to see Midwest boys.
Yeah,
There's nothing
yeah.
cool here. Just flat
We
everything.
get some cool colors in the sky.
Yeah, that's
every once in
about
a while.
it,
But
but yeah, that was sick. But again, we battled Cole Richards again in 32 this time, and we went out in 32, and it was like, well, that's not how I wanted to end the season. We got a podium there last year, so that one hurt because you go from second place to 30th or whatever.
Yeah, that's not gonna feel too good.
And we qualified 5th, or 4th. So I mean, that was our second best qualifying position ever. We got 2 of our best ones ever this year in qualifying, so I feel better there. But when it just came to battle, it just wasn't there for us. I don't know.
How over budget did this end up making you?
Bro, you have no idea. If I didn't have MotorState as one of my partners this year, they're a distribution center for like race parts. So we blew a motor at Grid Life like a week before Jersey. And luckily, I just called my guy Ryan up there and I was like, dude, I'm at my shop right now. I don't have time to look on your site. Can you find this for me and bill it to my account and ship it to me overnight? And he did. And Hearst was like, hey, I don't want you to have engine problems again. I'm going to come up and build it for you. And he's like 2 hours away. And like 10 p.m., this dude leaves his house, shows up at like 12:30. Him and Cameron drove up and we rebuilt it in my shop until like 4:30.
What?
He said all the ring gaps and everything. And, I build my motors myself. Again, can't afford to.
Yeah.
And like, I know what I'm doing, but it dropped oil pressure and went down to like we were having safeties like under 30 a lot. Like oil pressure was going down. And then it ended up tossing the bearings and stuff. So if it wasn't for MotorState giving us all that, we would have never made it to Jersey. So those guys saved our ass this year. And they're great people, man. But otherwise, the budget was pretty twisted. Tires are insane. Yeah. Every year the tire price goes up for us because, we're buying them in ProSpec. Pros, they've got some of them are free, some of them buy them. So yeah, the budget was pretty shot to hell. We spent the most we've ever spent, I think. If you go on the light side, like not counting the nickel dime shit, me and Jason added up $73,000 this year. Which is fucking insane.
What was budgeted? Like what was you going into it?
I don't. Like what did I have?
Yeah.
A credit card.
Whatever this limit is.
Whatever my paycheck is going to be is what I got. Whenever I'm done paying bills, that's what's left. So when it comes to like, I hate to say this word, it's kind of weird. Hustling is literally it, dude. Like you do a side job to pay for something, you do brake job, whatever you can do. Anything I possibly can to pay, I can. Like, and we got the best sponsor money this year that we've ever gotten, but it didn't even come close to paying for half. Yeah. So we're doing pretty good this year. So hopefully that'll put us on a good starting point because last year was tough. It was deals where I was struggling to pay for tires before events and stuff. And this was for us, like having so much confidence going in this year. This was the hardest year financially, mentally, hardest year on the car.
It's one of those pushy years.
Dude. Yeah. It's, what do they call
where
it?
Do you kind of like, where does your budget stack up compared to all the other drivers?
I would say bottom 3 budgets.
Bottom 3. Okay.
I don't know. We're probably the most funded as far as like sponsors go. Maybe top 5. I don't really know. We don't. A lot of people don't talk about that stuff. Yeah. But just from like the people that I do, a lot of guys don't get a ton of money. We probably get more that way as far as funding. However, I don't get money. Yeah. I'm poor as shit, dude.
But I only preface that just in case anyone's like looking to go into FD. Like, are most of the drivers basically just funding all of this themselves?
Yeah. ProSpec. And Pro, I would say it's hit and miss. A lot of the guys are probably having half their season or the whole season paid for. But, the teams that obviously are swimming in money. And that's pretty much nobody in ProSpec. And, some of them have cash flow already, so they're not worried about it. And so they don't have to push for sponsors very hard. And good for them. Love that. I wish that was me. Yeah. And I'm just not that way. But yeah, we're getting there. But, like you said, for people who want to go pro, I'm a pure example. Hurst is a prime example
Oh, yeah.
of dudes that just don't have it, but we still make it. Like,
what is in there that keeps you going?
dude, I don't know. I'm a psychopath, I guess.
Like,
I work on like 2 months before the season starts, 100-hour work weeks, probably maybe not that crazy,
I
maybe
mean,
more. Like I
truthfully,
literally
I do that myself, but like,
yeah, but like for the standard person, like they get off at 5, they want to go have a beer, they want to go on the couch or hang out with their significant other, their friends, like whatever, or just do nothing. Like I get off work at 5, I go straight to my shop, I toss some burgers on the barbecue grill, eat,
Yeah.
and then go to town. And like preseason, I'll be at the shop till some days it's 10, but some days it's 2 or 3, and I'm at work at 8. You know, and it's 5 days a week, and then I'll sleep in on Saturday and wake up probably like noon because I went to bed at 2, and then I'll work from noon until midnight, and then I'll do it again on Sunday. It's a lot.
I couldn't imagine wrenching on my car that much.
Dude, I hate it.
Fuck
I hate
no,
working on
dude.
cars, but somebody's got to do it.
I mean, yeah, the job's got to get done. I
Yeah,
totally understand
yeah.
that.
And if it wasn't for my boy Tyler, dude, I would have never made it this year.
Yeah.
He is at my shop pretty much every day with me. Like we
That's awesome.
carpool to work, so he doesn't really have a choice. We just go there.
You're stuck with me, motherfucker.
You're in the passenger seat, bud. We're going to the shop to work. But no, he's awesome, and he does the jobs that I don't want to do. So that's
tight.
6.
Yeah.
those
a good
shit
friend.
ones. But yeah, no, dude, it sounds rough, but I love it. You know,
Yeah.
this is what I wanted. I wanted the life of making content, like building a sick race car. Dude, when I started driving, I had a clapped rusty S13 with a single slammer in it. Dude, this thing was such a piece of shit. And I looked around at some of these other cars. I'm like, damn, that's a LS1 car. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then
Now you can't turn your head without seeing one.
Yeah, yeah. And I put an SR in my car, and I was like, this is the fastest car ever, dude. No one's ever going to beat me in a race. Like, it's 220 horsepower at best.
Airhead.
Yeah, dude. It was so fun, though. That was probably some of the most fun I've had driving. And, you know, I went to FD Atlanta for the first time. Me and my friend Sean were just like, dude, I'm going to fucking do this one day.
Yeah.
And, like, when I rolled up to FD Atlanta the first time for ProSpec, I was like, this is fucking sick, dude. Yeah.
Well, all right. So explain what it was like going to Atlanta and driving on that track for the first time.
So that
Gotta
hill
be
does
fucking
not
nuts.
do any justice on camera. You get to the top of that motherfucker, you're like, oh my God.
It feels like a cliff,
This
bro.
thing is
Where are we
huge.
going?
Hey, you want me to go full throttle the whole way down this thing? Yeah, it's nuts. So it's very intimidating because you like huck it sideways. All you see is kitty litter. Like by the time they get to you in line, there's already been like 4 people and have to get towed out of the litter. And you're like, God damn it, I hope that's
That's
not
me next,
I hope
dude.
that's
I
not
know
me.
it is.
And 2 visits, and I haven't made it into the kitty litter yet, but I'm sure my time's coming.
Yeah.
It
Just
comes for
counting the
everybody.
clock.
It comes for everybody. But no, it was wild, dude. Like that, it's such a crazy track. And you know, you blast down the hill, hit the S, and then you blast up the hill, and you're like, I'm almost at the top of this hill, and I shouldn't still be full throttle. And you are, and you're like, and even when you're in
This
that
works
mindset,
somehow,
you
I
still don't
guess.
make it to the edge of the track. You're like, damn, I thought I was going off. What do you mean? What do you mean I didn't fill the zone? I didn't even think I was going to make it. Yeah, I was sick. Honestly, that had nothing on like my first round of FD was Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my dad roll up. You know, we've got a brand new 34-foot trailer. We paid like $7,000 for because it was a piece of shit trailer, but it was brand new. And we're hot as shit. And like we roll up to the track, and my dad's like, "We got this big ass trailer." He's like, "We're gonna look official." I was like, "No, we're not." You
not
never
one
been
bit.
to
You're
FD.
crazy.
And we roll up, and it's a test day a few days before FD. And who's there? James Dean and Peter Vensick. The best drivers in the world are there. And I'm like, I got to pull my car to my trailer and drive in front of these guys. And it was like them two and like Alec Honadell. And I ended up testing with Kevin Lawrence, Brandon McDowell. I think there was one other person with us. Sorensen was there. It was his rookie year as well in ProSpec. Yeah, it was just like we roll up and it was nuts. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. This is crazy.
Yeah, I bet that's an intimidating feeling.
It is, but it's also like, damn, we're here with these guys. And like, obviously, the driving level was nowhere comparable. I didn't qualify one time my first year in ProSpec. Granted, it was top 16 and it was a lot more difficult.
out here
like,
trying though.
Yeah, you know, I was getting like 80-point scores or 75-point scores, which was landing me like 18 to 22. You're not getting in. You're like, we had 42 drivers my first year. That's a lot of people going home when you're only doing the top 16.
Oh yeah,
that's a lot. But it was cool. It was a learning experience. Really put me in check. And for a while, I was like, dude, I feel like maybe I should quit. Like, the next year was COVID year, and no qualifying. So they just seeded you. And because I didn't qualify, it was weird. So they put you in order by seeding from like your last year's finish. But because I didn't qualify, I had 0 points. So they acted as if we never even driven. It was me and Dan Stuckey. We both of us goose eggs all year long. So him and I got thrown in the mix with the rookies and got like randomly mixed up. And like all of the drivers that drove last year, which was like 12 people, were like automatically getting buys into 16. So all these guys are getting crazy points. And, you know, and since I'm down with the rookies because we didn't have points, we have to battle these guys that are like top dogs, you know, first round or whatever. And,
throw in the towel.
I battled like Nick Novak, who's a freaking ripper, and lost there. And I lost. Oh, my car shut off in St. Louis in the middle of my run. And I mean,
What caused that?
I don't know, probably me.
Oh,
There was nothing wrong with the car. We were having some tuning issues this year, so I blamed it on a tuning issue. But then I happened there a couple other times the next year when the tuning was not a thing, and I was like, maybe I should just push the clutch in right now because we're almost parking that car in that 90 whenever it was an inner clip. And I imagine it was just bogging and shutting it down. But I don't know. When I was doing it, I was full throttle and I like straightened up, and then a car pop started itself and like went back into drift. So that was just a weird deal. But like after that, like not qualifying 2 rounds or for 4 rounds and then losing in top 32, the next 2 rounds, I'm like, dude, do I belong in FD? Like, am I wasting my time here? Like, I'm just making myself look dumb and spending thousands and thousands of dollars.
I feel like that's gonna be every rookie.
Going in, though. But and then the next round we got 3rd place. It was like, and we beat first place Dimitri Gutsky. We beat tied for first place Josh Love. Beat Mike Power. We beat Ricky Hoffman. It's like all these dudes get rip, you know. And I ended up losing to Hurst in the final 4. My car was cutting out a little bit, but dude, Texas is sick, and that truck is a rip. And my car's pretty fast, and Hurst is fast, so it's just that dude was sick. I like had to tell Hurst because Hurst is my boy. I'm like, dude, my car's cutting out. Be careful. I don't want to wreck you for the finals because you're probably gonna win. And my car ran perfect. He's like, "You're playing games. Screw you, man." Like, no, I'm not. I swear.
Okay, so at Texas, how fast are you coming into that last outer?
I don't know. I'm like 3.6 diff. With a 350Z diff, and
it looks fast on camera. There's no telling what it looks like.
I was 1-to-1 ratio, so 4th gear is like 142, and that's wheel speed. And I didn't pull logs to see where I was in the RPMs, but wheel speed was probably 130 at least,
Jesus,
maybe 140.
Crazy.
I mean, we were cooking, dude. I'd have been like 80 miles an hour on the straight down to like a 180 loop. So I would go down the straight, first, second, third, fourth, toss it in, and you're just wide open around that center or inner clip, and you're just full throttle and dump it down to 3rd for that last turn. And it was honestly one of the most fun tracks I've ever driven.
Really?
In Texas. Just I'm a wide open guy. I like going fast as shit. Like some people like technical stuff.
That's
like,
me.
Yes, and I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. But I'm like give me the gears, baby, because I'm gonna put it to
feel the wind in my face.
Exactly. There's nothing more like unnerving than just being at this crazy speed that you're like, I should not be pulling the handbrake right now.
Yeah,
and then you
this is not
stab
natural.
the handbrake, toss it sideways, and then just full throttle again. That's why I like Utah so much because it's crazy fast. It's hard as shit. It doesn't look hard. It's hard.
Wow.
Because you're constantly fighting front grip issues and understeer and this and that. And like, you can dial your car in as much as you want, but even the best guys are doing it. Like D'Onofrio's understeering and stuff. And I mean, he won the event or second or something. Something crazy. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm a big fast track guy.
That's fair.
VIR, if you ever get the opportunity to drive it.
I want to,
Sick, dude. So good.
Yeah.
Patriot course. That's where I got my license. Never drove there before, and I get there, I'm like, dude, this is dope as shit. Yeah, and that's a technical one, so you would like it a lot. It's faster. I call it the US Air for adults.
Wow.
Because it's no shit talk to the US Air boys. The track's awesome. It's just slower, but it's the same idea, like with the elevation change and like the turns and stuff, like throughout there. It's just a little more faster. Balls. Yeah, exactly. Like you come full tilt right in front of like the grandstands, and then you down the hill full tilt. And like our cars are usually significantly faster than the cars that typically drive at US Air, so we're cooking. Absolutely. I mean, if you watched the video of James Dean testing with RTR last year, they did the back section. The front section's even faster. The back section's just technical and fun, easy for them to set the car up, but the front section is nuts.
Man. Yeah, I'm gonna have to drive there eventually.
Yeah, and you're pretty. How far are you from there? Like eight
I
hours?
think it's like
6
10.
hours? Oh, that's far
total.
It was like 14 for me.
Yeah,
we did it in a day, and it started raining in the middle of the night, going through like the mountains, like a toge with a freaking truck and a trailer that wasn't mine. A rental truck, my buddy's trailer. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Sketchy's boy.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna try and make it to Hyperfest last year.
Yeah, it's good.
And drive there, but obviously the car didn't.
Yeah. Well, it's done now. So coming up next year.
Almost there. But yeah, you got some more fine tuning.
You got time.
To do. Yeah, plenty.
It'll be sick.
I want to make it to the Spring Break Bash at Mid Pond.
Dude,
to be like my goal event to make it to.
It's like just far enough that it's a pain in the ass. It's 9 hours from me. So, but it looks so good. It's one of my favorite tracks to drive on sim. I love Mid Pond. It looks sick. Everybody that I've ever talked to has driven it, loves the tracks. Have you ever driven it?
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah?
I talk about it endlessly on the podcast.
Jealous, dude.
Oh, it's so good. I got to drive it. The event that they finally extended some of the areas, and oh my God,
so much better.
Made it way better.
Hell yeah, dude. Speaking of, dude, when they made those extensions to FD St. Louis, I saw it and I was like, looks like a parking lot out here, dude. This is gonna be stupid. Dude, it's so much better. Drives so good. The wall ride's sick.
Hell yeah.
It's sick. I definitely touched the tire on the wall in my qualifying run, which was terrifying. I was like, I must have been pretty close, and I could watch the video.
It'll make your butt
like
pucker.
the tires, like I'm like, Jesus Christ, you almost tossed it away.
Yeah,
but hey, paid off. We got third. It was cool.
Oh yeah. Well, since one thing that I've noticed is kind of back whenever you started to now, there's been a very drastic change in the way judging is done. So has that realistically helped the drivers in any way, or made it worse, more confusing? How do you feel about it?
I would say there's some confusion for sure, because some of like the qualifying rules have like changed from one end to the other in
drastically. Yeah,
and I'm pretty indifferent about it. Most of the time, I'm a pretty understanding person. So most of the time, whenever they make a change and people get upset about it, I see why they made the change. And a lot of times to me, like it makes sense. Like this year, I don't remember the specific changes, but they were talking about them and I was like, this checks out. Like we're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know that it's really benefited the drivers. Last year we have like annual calls or quarterly calls or whatever they end up being for the year with Ryan Sage and a couple of the other guys from FD. And we just talk about what can be better for the show and what can be better for us. Cause it's costing us a lot of money and they understand that, but the bottom line is it's a show for the people. So they're like, we've got a major correction in sector score 2 for this guy. And this person did mediocre, but they see this crazy correction. And then when they get the same score, they're like, what? But the rest of his run was great. So they're like, they changed it this year to basically a deduction. Like they'll watch you every time you mess up. They'll be like -1, -2, whatever. And then the X factor, I don't get at all. It's the dumbest shit ever. I like laid down a pretty heater of a run and I got like 0.3. I was like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, qualified third. And I think I got like 0.33 X factor points. I was like, what?
So what is their explanation on what the X factor is then?
So basically it's like you giving it everything you have and they can see that you're like tossing it out. You're taking risks and you're hitting your marks perfectly.
So the commitment factor.
Yeah, it's essentially a style, but it has to be executed perfectly.
Yeah.
It's not like you're getting style or fluidity and commitment. It's still fluidity and commitment, but it's cool factor, I guess, now too. But like you could be taking risks as a driver and tossing it out there, but if you don't fill the zone, they don't give a shit anymore. You know, like you might have been committed, but you didn't fill the zone, so you lose a ton of points there. I don't know. I'm pretty subjective about that. I feel like it's just a way to help their boys get to the top of the score sheet, but it's not my business.
Ah, damn. Yeah, well, that's why I wanted to ask, because it's from a viewer standpoint, it does seem a little bit more confusing.
Yeah.
But like, I can see where it helps the viewers in a sense with some of the visual aspects that they've done. But other than that,
yeah, it's a lot easier for them to like walk back through the run, like whenever they do, and they're like, okay, small deduction here, deduction here, deduction here, and then the fans can be like, oh, okay, now I see those.
Yeah,
because like the normal eye, they're not gonna see that.
Yeah,
you know,
of course
they're
not.
just like, that was sick. Did you see that? He was drifting.
yeah, dude, they were so close.
Yeah, that was awesome. Like they don't see that. Like, yeah, okay, he filled maybe a third of the zone, or he pulled out way early, or whatever the case may be. So like, I do like that part. I think a lot better than the sector scoring, because the sector scoring scores were just way too close all the time. I just don't really understand the X factor. I wish they would just go deduct from 100.
Yeah,
or bring commitment. Just call it commitment. I don't know. Just change the way.
Change the term, damn it.
Change the way. I mean, you can keep calling it X factor. Just I don't know. Give us a better definition of what you want. I guess
that's fair.
Because it's very, because of the judging style this year, it brought a lot of confusion to the drivers and the spotters. So it's like the spotter can't really tell you much except for, hey, go harder or fill the zone better. They can't really say like, excuse me, the judges want to see this, 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 and this, because, you know, it's all subjective now, because it's what they think is cool or what, you know, whatever.
You would need like literally the judge to be your spotter at that point.
Yeah, exactly. And luckily they do this thing called spotters help. And the judges will come in for like 30 minutes and your spotter can be like, hey, Lantain, my driver's coming. Can you watch this? And they'll give you, okay, this looked good. This looked good. This looked like shit. This is where you need to do here. So they do give a little bit of that, which does help.
Yeah.
There's a lot of spotters that don't take advantage of that. I don't know if they're just nervous to talk to the judges or what. I don't know what it is, but a lot of guys are just like, or maybe they just think they got this. But dude, whenever the spotters help comes on, I'm immediately on the radio. I'm like, hey, go talk to them, find them. I'm two cars back. Let them
jump
know.
on it.
Yeah, because I want to know, like, because ultimately they're the ones who are putting me in a spot. And if I have a bad qualifying run, like I'll go talk to them afterwards. I'm like, hey, here's a video of my run. Can you tell me what I can do better so I can go far in competition tomorrow?
Yeah.
And like, I'm not complaining. I just want to know what I can do better.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but I think some of those other people, they just like the pressure.
I like the pressure for sure.
So like because I think Ben Hopson's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Where he just, I don't need to know. I'm here to have fun anyways.
Yeah. Dude's
I'm cool with the pressure. Let's just roll with it.
That dude's insane.
Oh yeah, he's an animal.
I love that kid, man. He is an animal in a race car. Yeah.
I just texted him today because of his post.
Yeah.
Where he's leaving Fuel. I was like, oh.
I talked to him.
I've got some ideas.
I think we've all got some good speculation in our heads right now. It's like we all know, but we don't know.
He loved the message, and that was it. He didn't respond. I was like, fair enough.
Well, I texted him, and I was like, because him and I get along great. You know, we're not close to each other, and like his girlfriend lives in California, so he might base himself there. He lives in Atlanta, which is like 9 hours. And I was like, yo, dude, I was like, if you don't do anything next year, like we should consider teaming up. We get along great. Our teams get along. Like we should do something. And he was like, yeah, I really don't know what I'm doing next year. And I talked to him, or I asked him, like, are you going to drive your car? You going to drive Fuel's car? Or like you got something else in mind? And like now the world got turned upside down with an open RTRC. And now he's leaving Fuel. And it was, we've all got our own speculation. We'll just put it that way. But I'm happy as shit for the dude. He's a ripper. He's a great guy. His family's awesome. So I love to see.
He's about 3 hours from me. So
really, that's not that bad.
Yeah, I went to his place and did his
really?
podcast, and we're trying to schedule another one, but he's busy as fuck now.
Yeah,
it's hard to nail him down.
He's in California all the time now.
Yeah, dude, I was texting him after Ford Fest. That's what it was. Because he came up to me and was like, we need to do another podcast. I was like, absolutely. Let's do that.
Well, soon, I'm sure he'll have some good stuff to talk about.
Exactly. And he was like, I'm going to be in fucking California until like mid-November. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool to see him doing some testing. I guess it had a lot to do with James, like breaking his collarbone. So
Yeah.
he drove the RTR car a little bit at SEMA doing some ride-alongs and doing it again at that.
Sneak peek.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. I hope it happens for him. And his dad's got a Ford dealership, so that makes sense. He's got an S550, takes on drift weeks. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. It's just going to need a new livery.
Oh, yeah. Can they talk him into a pink livery?
Oh, I think they will.
I think they do.
They would do it.
And
Bond's about it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he seems about
Show
it. He's
out.
obviously about the crazy colors. I mean, he's
Yeah.
got the lime green and the purple.
Hell, Adam
and
did
bright
fucking
yellow,
his orange and yellow.
Orange, yeah. But
I'm not a fan of orange cars. Orange and yellow cars.
honestly, so I
it's
can get
odd
down with
to me.
yellow. Sometimes.
Okay, well, like an FD or something like that, I'm cool with that being yellow. That looks good.
Yeah.
But there's not many cars that I dig.
Dude, my crew chief has a yellow E36, and it's got a good kit on it, and it looks pretty good. And another one of my friends got like this crazy purple livery to put on this white car, and he ended up selling it. And so he gave the livery to my crew chief. I'm like, a purple livery on yellow, huh? Dude, it's so sick. Like, he rents. We all rent a shop together to like keep our stuff in.
My high school colors were purple and yellow.
Yes,
So I was like,
dude,
perfect.
Literally same. But like, every day I like walk by it in the shop. I'm like, this thing's way too sick for its own good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good car. So I can get down with yellow, but orange, not for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not for me.
Fair enough.
Big black car guy. My photographer hates it, dude. He's like,
It's
do
horrible.
anything besides black, dude.
Yes.
Anything. He's like, nobody can take pictures of it. It doesn't pop. It's not exciting. I'm like,
You got to have
Sweet,
some
man.
really deep black, a lot of clear
Yeah.
sitting on top of it.
yeah.
And then it'll shine on camera. But
I don't know, dude. I've just had black and gold cars since I've been in FD. I feel like that's kind of like my thing now. So changing now, I feel like would totally like change the brand that I've like tossed together over the last few years. All my merch is black and yellow or black and gold or black and white, which is just easy. But
I used to get you and Stooky's car mixed up all the time.
yeah.
Just because I didn't know anyone in drifting. I
couple
was
of us
just
guys.
learning and shit.
Yeah, they've now I've got Carvin Kevlar stuff from them on my car too.
Yeah.
So it's just adding to it. That stuff's sick, dude.
Oh yeah, I remember he came
Sick.
to National Super Speedway one time to test that car,
Mhm.
and we were talking to him about it. It was because it's an S14 converted, and told me about a chassis that he had bought beforehand. They had cut the roof off to put the cage in, and didn't realize that, or what was it? They did some type of modification to the chassis to put the cage in, and didn't realize you couldn't do that. So they had to basically scrap the entire chassis
Damn.
and rebuild the one that they were on. I was like, dude, hell no.
Yeah.
But I got to play with the Carvin Kevlar when I was there. That shit's crazy.
Yeah. So they've tuned my car for the last few years. So like we've built a great friendship with those guys. And this year I was like, you know what? I need some new front fenders. Let's make a deal. And so they gave me a little bit of a deal on them. And it was like, might as well buy them. Like I've got 2F everything else on the car, but like they don't make front fenders for an S15. So I'm like, perfect. I'll try them. You can stomp on these things, like all kinds of crazy shit. And they just right back where they were. Yeah. I've blasted people. I've gotten so many wrecks, dude, and they're fine. Except for the time I put it in the wall. That one wasn't so great for it.
Yeah.
Wrinkled it up.
Do you know the process of making that shit?
Yeah. So
It's got to be similar to fiberglass, right?
Yeah, it's very similar to fiberglass. It's just a different lay. And, you know, Matt went over the nerd stuff with me on it, and it's just, that's over my head, buddy.
Yeah.
It's over my head. But it was cool. I got to watch him lay it out,
stuff,
and I'm like, this is nuts, dude. You do this all the time? He's like, yeah. He's like, I don't mind it. I'm like, dude, you're crazy. I don't have the patience for something.
Yeah, but I'm sitting here telling you what you do is fucking crazy
Yeah,
too. So
that's
it's
fair.
like, we're all psychopaths.
Different
now,
strokes, dude. That's all.
So, yeah. I'm building a fucking car that nobody builds.
Yeah.
No reason I should be doing that.
Oh, dude, we saw like I don't know, there's like a Jaguar F-Type wrecked on like Copart, and my media guy's a big supercar guy. He's like, dude, we need to find somebody to fund this supercar drift build. I'm like, that'd be fucking sick.
Yeah.
Dude. It was like 12 grand.
What?
Yeah. It was, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Have you ever driven an F-Type?
No.
Oh, dude.
I've
Rocket ships.
I've driven like a Lambo, a
cool
McLaren,
as
and a
fuck.
Ferrari, and that's it, dude. Everything else just like nothing. But like, it was
I will always say
sick.
Jaguars and Range Rovers and shit, they're garbage. But the F-Type was one of the ones that just like, I never really saw any problems out of them.
Really?
Because I used to work at an auction, so I'd drive these Jaguars all the time.
It may not have been an F-Type now that I think about it, because F-Types are really nice. I don't know. Whatever it was like a supercar but like kind of older and like at this day and age, kind of irrelevant, but would be sick to be a drift car.
Fair.
But I don't know, it was like a 2012, so it was like past the curve, but still, I'm like, this would be
Hey,
fucking rad,
I
dude.
mean,
High rev.
imagine replacing parts and shit on that though.
You'd have to
throughout the
make
year?
your own angle kits and stuff. You'd have to. I don't have that kind of brain there, dude. I just don't. Just don't. have
Josiah,
it.
FDF, he's
Yeah.
got you.
Hit me up. Yeah, he's a good dude. I like him a lot.
Man's a genius.
Yeah, dude, smart as hell.
And whenever I was talking to Nate Hamilton with his car,
Mhm.
how they did that whole kit, just custom one off, and then before he even got to test it, had already sent him a V2, just because he saw something in a video. Could
Yeah,
you imagine
that's
being
nuts,
that smart?
I'd have a lot more money than I do right now,
Oh
dude.
man,
Yeah, dude. I watching LZ's video of them touring that was just like insane.
Yeah.
because it's just like you don't get the understanding of what Josiah does. You know, like you just look at him, you're like, yeah, dude owns FDF, sick. Like, he must be pretty
yeah,
smart.
it's
And then
another
you hear
angle
him
kit company.
talking about all
Nope.
the logistics, all this stuff, and I'm like, this dude's insane. Like, this dude is brilliant. And him and I have shared conversations over the years, and he's kind of lost me a couple times. But like, you really can't put that into perspective until he's really laying it out there.
Oh yeah,
Like, he's running a good business. Like, they're making a lot of sales and stuff. They're running a lot of parts out the door. They're coming out with new shit all the time. I mean, working for Fuelab, I know how much
the R&D
goes in.
that comes out
Yeah,
of that place is
like
wild.
just making a new fuel pump
Good
or
luck
wanting to
keeping
throw a
up.
new kit together or something. There's so much more to it than just build sell.
Yeah.
Like, behind the back end. And like, we've got 10 people and we struggle to come up with like or release new parts like in a timely manner. It's a lot of work. So seeing that they've only got like 15 and they're releasing this many new parts every year, I'm like, you guys are nuts. Like, people don't
Y'all are
understand
on
how
another level.
crazy that is. It's impressive.
And being on top of that, it's in Canada, which
Yeah.
has one of the most like restrictions on this side of the planet, I would say.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that they're still there doing it. I mean, obviously moving all that stuff would be a huge job, and moving all your Canadian boys with you to work with you, because
Yep.
all those guys are obviously doing a great job too. Otherwise they wouldn't still be there. So man, that's tough.
Oh yeah.
Because even getting their cars here sucks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know if you know Shorkey. We always pit next to each other at like Grid Lifes and like Riverside events and stuff. And just hearing the bullshit that they go through coming by, it's like, damn, dude.
Yeah.
Damn.
They got stopped over an energy drink.
Yeah. In anything. And you got to get your cars here and tell them that you're going here to make money. Like, you could win $25,000 at this event. How does that conversation go?
Don't forget us to write a check when you come back.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that's something different.
All right, hold on. Let me see. Let me pull one from up here. I've just been going off a whim.
Yeah. I talk a lot. Sorry.
No, you're good. This is perfect.
Big tangent guy.
Okay, so since I'm like a big advocate for not going into FD and not taking the competition route, what is your kind of, I guess, response to someone like that?
It's all perspective based. You know what I mean? Like, I was an athlete growing up. Like, I played hockey, I played football, I played tennis. Like, if there was a sport that I could do, I was doing it. Boring.
Oh,
I played it. I was really good at it. I quit in
it's
high
a big
school.
brain sport.
What was stand there and hope the ball comes your way so you can catch it? Yeah, that was my thing, man. So like, I played catcher, so I was at least in the action every pitch, and I could hit
I
pretty
did until
well.
my knees couldn't handle it anymore.
Yeah, I would have played that all the way through college. I probably wouldn't be able to walk right now because I got old man knees. But no, I mean, if there was a sport, I was playing it. So like, naturally, I'm just competitive. I want to be the best at everything. I don't give a shit if it's Nintendo 64. I want to beat your ass. So naturally, when I started drifting, I'm like, damn, this is fun. I want to be the best at it. So that's kind of my perspective. And like, a lot of dudes, like most drift kids, come from like BMX or skateboarding or motocross or something. And that's kind of how we get into drifting. So a lot of that is the way you took BMX. Did you just rip with your boys at the local park?
Yep.
Or did you go into competition like growing up, or like whatever the case may be there kind of feeds into that too. Whereas for me, like I was pretty bad at BMX, but I liked it. I did it.
That's how I was.
So like there was no shot I was going to compete at it.
I just rode around the streets and found random places to ride. That's
Same,
what I like doing.
But like, I kind of grew up in the country. So like 10 minutes out of town. So like that's a long bike ride. And my parents particularly didn't want me to do that because cars would rip on the back roads. So we just like got a shovel and started making dirt ramps and just doing dumb shit. So that was fun.
That would be cool.
And then I
We
got
did
pit
make some
bike.
trails in the woods and stuff with some jumps.
Yeah, that's sick. We had some like that too. But like I was never good enough with that. But like I was competitive through all these other sports that took me into being competitive at drifting. So that kind of brought me into just wanting to compete a little bit, or at least wanting to be the best. And MDU Streets of Detroit is ultimately why I started competition drifting.
No shit.
Yeah, I went with my boy Connor and like crewed for
There you
him
go,
and stuff.
Swan.
Yeah, yeah, dude. That was sick. Dude, we have the Mercury bars where all of our drivers meetings and stuff were at.
I wish I was in the scene back then.
Dude, it was so good. And the drivers would like go and like they'd stop traffic and they'd like go to grid that way. I'm like, this is unreal. And like the backdrop having the Union Station was like so cool to see. So I'm like, screw it, man. I was like, I've got a 350Z now. It's caged. I'm running it up. One of my friends was like, I'm going to start fabbing. Can I do your cage? So he gave me a sweet deal on it. And it was like a full interior 350Z with cage. It was stock as a rock. It had a PBM angle kit and an ASD hydro, and that was it. And I'm like, we're going in a competition, boys. And it was on the schedule. And about, I don't know if it was like right before the season started or right after it started, canceled.
Oh, yeah.
They're reopening that Union Station. And they moved us to M1 Concourse, which we were the first ones to ever drift on it, which was sick because, you know, it's always cool to be like, yeah, I was one of the first one to ever drift on this thing. So that was kind of cool. But I didn't get to rip that experience. So that would have been super awesome to do. But just being able to go and be a part of it was awesome. Being able to be like, I'm one of the few people that were able to do that. And like,
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Very jealous.
This was like the days where like Riley Sexsmith was still in his WRX and Dirk Stratton was in his S13 before he even started the vet. Like when he showed up and with that Corvette on a trailer, he still had his S13 there. So we were like, what is this here? Because all it says on the door is Stratton Chevrolet. And it was on like I don't know if it was on a rollback or something to where we were like, is this just display to like, because they're kind of close to home, maybe get some advertisement out of it or whatever. And I walked up to it and it's got a cage in it. And I'm like, this
is a full race
way.
car.
And my boy comes out, qualifies first place with like a freaking 99 or something. Because it was just the nastiest car there. And it was like the first time we'd all pretty much seen like vets in like the norm around us, I guess, besides FD.
Yep.
So we were like, this is crazy. So just being able to be a part of that stuff and have that story is sick. But
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Man. Bring it back.
Yeah.
Shut that place down so we can do it again.
Dude, whenever Kim Block did that shit in that Jim Connor video, I was like, yes.
We're
back.
Nostalgia.
Yeah. It was awesome. But I never got to drive it.
Yeah. Well, let's kind of branch off of that. What is something that has changed over the years that you are either like or dislike?
In drifting?
In drifting. Yes.
This is gonna make some people upset.
Because you said from 2012, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah.
I love how many full built race cars there are. And that's gonna make some people upset because everybody's like, simplicity, do this, do that. Like, just get seat time. I fucking love full blown race cars, man. Just going out and seeing what people do with stuff. I'm like, I love craftsmanship. Like regardless of what it is. So like seeing what you did to build your car, I'm just like, this shit's sick.
Yeah,
like,
now that I can respect.
And I love it. And I love loud cars. I love fast cars. I just love the rowdiness of drifting.
Yeah.
Like that's the excitement for me. So I love that there's so many more of them.
What I love is that in drifting, even if it is a full-blown race car, it still looks cool.
Yeah.
Like most race cars look kind of dumb.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
Obnoxiously dumb.
One or two colors, or like the drag race cars. Like I don't know.
Yeah, the simplest liveries and
or like the ghost flames, or like
kits.
whatever they do, like skulls and stuff. That's a drag racing. I'll never understand that. And I agree. Most drift cars are pretty sick. Another thing that I love, everybody's freaking cool, man. Well, Most people are cool. You go to a drag race event, you're like, yo, what are you doing out there, man? Like, you're doing really well. They're going to be like, screw you, dude. I'm not telling you what I'm doing. I want to beat you. And like, meanwhile, I'll take a part off my car.
I'm not even tell you what I had for lunch.
Yeah, dude.
What the fuck? Dude, who cares?
That's drag racing as a whole, dude. And drifting's just sick. Camaraderie's awesome. Like, that's probably what kept me in it for so long. So everybody I meet is awesome. And it's just a lot of fun. And I there's not a lot of changes that have happened that I have disliked. Except for takeovers. They're not drifters.
Agreed.
They're not drifters.
They're not.
But it's tossing it into the mix, and the outsiders look at it as that. Oftentimes.
That's what I don't like.
Oftentimes.
Yeah. And I used to talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
And I've kind of branched away from it.
Yeah.
But
I wasn't even going to bring it up. It just kind of popped into my head. I was like, oh, you know what? Don't like that.
Dude, and they'll stand up for it in the comments.
I don't get it.
I love breaking the law.
I mean,
okay.
Everybody likes
Have
breaking
fun.
the law to a small extent, but that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's,
I mean, you're booting people across intersections.
Yeah, you know
That's
what?
not normal.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad they got hit.
Just to clarify, they are not drifters. If any normal civilians watching.
They're not drifters.
But,
no, drifting's actually cool.
yeah. Okay. So I wanted to bring up how you also do this like off-road truck stuff, I guess. I'm very ignorant when it comes to it.
So it's not off-road. You talking about the Ranger stuff?
Okay, yeah. Explain that for like dummies, because I don't know anything about it.
Get in truck, be dumb. That's so. Cletus McFarland, I'm sure everybody knows him, does like his Crown Vic races, and I'm like, this is so stupid. I love it.
Yeah,
but it's a celebrity race, is what they call it. So they only hire but bring out like big YouTubers, big social media following people, NASCAR drivers, like you name it. Like that's what's in the race. Big names like the Deegans are in it, and then like I don't know if you watch a lot of funny TikToks, but like Frankie LaPena, the dude that like makes his butt look massive.
Oh, I've seen him before. Yeah,
now it's like what? Yeah, so. Obviously, you want to get into that. Like, I'm a Cletus fan. Like, I watch his stuff, and he's an awesome dude. So when he started doing these Ranger races, I'm like, this is freaking hilarious. So naturally, I run it by my boss because I didn't know it was. I thought it was invite only. Also, no, you just build a truck and sign up.
Really?
Yeah. So we bought a Ford Ranger from our local high school for $1,000, and it had a bad fuel pump. It was a 4-liter. So
surprised you didn't buy it from O'Reilly's.
Yeah, well, I did. And we just also Motor State owns All Star Performance also, and they do like a bunch of dirt track stuff. So they had a cage that weirdly enough fits an old G body. And they had like a tech data sheet that had like a bunch of their cages and like the dimensions and stuff. So I just took a tape measure to this gutted Ranger, and we have a G-body cage welded into this Ranger, and it fit almost perfect.
Oh,
the only thing that didn't fit was the A-pillar bars, so I was able to like make them work. But then after that, the door bars wouldn't work, so we had to do some custom stuff. But like we just built it in the garage and the cage kit was like $350.
What?
And it was pre-bent, pre-notched, everything. So we just hit him up because like we just started doing business with him with Fuelab, and we're like, yo, dude, we want to do this. We'll rock you on the truck, like if you want to help us out. And they did, and we got a window net from him and then a cage from him. And we just built it. I put my status seat in it, and so it was like up to spec. And I rattle canned the truck black with like a nice chassis paint, so it actually still looked good.
Yeah.
And I called my wrap guy up, Kyle with Vitch and Visuals, does all the Drift Week stuff, and he's like, dude, fuck yeah. He's like, I'm gonna be in the race too. I was like, no, you are not. And he ended up procrastinating like he does and didn't get a truck in time. But anyways, because him and I were gonna build like matching trucks and like be like a team, quote unquote. And it was just gonna be us being idiots having a good time. And we ended up wrapping the truck, made it like look super cool. And like I made a stencil out of like an old Fuelab sticker and like did like paint on the tires that said Fuelab around the outside. And like, it looks sick. And the first race we go to is at Bristol Motor Speedway. And it was the week after they did the NASCAR dirt race. So the dirt was still there. And so we got to do Bristol on dirt. Like, first of all,
no shit.
No one gets to do that. So that was freaking sick. and we
Lucky
got to do it in a
bastards.
Ford Ranger, dude. And it's so stupid, but I had so much fun, man. It's just like you go-karting with your boys. You're like, damn, this is sick. I had so much fun.
So how much money do you have in the truck? It can't be much.
2 or 3, maybe. But most of it was like
shit.
we rebuilt the front end of the suspension because like the ball joints were cooked and this and that.
Yeah.
We had to get a fuel pump hanger for it because that was cooked. The cage, if you want to put it at cost, like if you can do it yourself, you could probably get it done for $500, counting like buying the cage from All Star. Because there's, like I said, it's pre-bent, pre-notched. It fits. It works. Text me for the part number. I'll give it to you.
There you go.
It was pretty cheap, you know. And I already had the seat for my race car, and then the harnesses from the race car. And I'm the only dude rolling up here with a status seat, looking bougie as shit. Diamond stitch seats in the Ford Ranger. These dudes got aluminum seats or like whatever, like trash bride that they've had for 20 years or whatever it is. So yeah, I don't know. It was just pretty cheap overall. I have like $2,000 in it. I think it cost us more money for wheels and tires because I wanted to get some like fancy looking like race steelies. Yeah, and those were like $400. And then I got new tires because I wanted something that was going to do well in the dirt. And that was like another like $300 or $400. But like if you get past that, yeah. For the second one we did, I ended up buying some like 17-inch steelies and using some of my GT Radial like drift spares.
This is literally just to go beat the shit out of the truck.
Dude, it's
like,
so
there's
much
no
fun.
other purpose.
So much fun. Yeah, there's no purpose. And like, you know, it's a big advertisement, for Fuelab. So like we put a big sticker on the side of the whole bedside. And like Frank from Tire Stacks came and helped us out. And so we put him on there, All-Star. And then of course Kyle, who wrapped the truck. Dude, so I mean they got some ad space, and like, dude, the first race at Bristol, they like live stream everything from like qualifying to everything in between to both races and everything. And Cletus was just interviewing people, and he came up and interviewed me, which was sick. So like I got some space on there, and the truck was in the background, and then the mic ran out of range. They couldn't go any farther, so he's just interviewing like the biggest YouTubers and like whatever, all right in front of the truck. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, the sponsors are probably loving this right now. There's probably, I don't know, it probably got 100,000 views. The race probably did. I mean, I didn't go back and look, but then in his recap video from it, Project Prime like threw together like a ripper of a video for his intro, and of course you're gonna video the cool looking trucks, which was like Cletus's, like a couple of the other big dudes, and then ours. We were in it for like 4 times in like the first 30 seconds. And I'm like, this is just
if that doesn't tell you to make your car look cool, I don't know what will.
You're preaching right now, dude.
You have to.
If you can't
you want
be good,
media, if you want anything good
man.
Out of this fucking sport, make your shit look cool,
dude.
It's not hard.
I mean, you feel cool. Why not look cool too? Yeah. Then you feel cool in the pits also.
You don't even have to put a bunch of fucking stickers all over it.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna wreck it. That's a given. But at least start the year looking good. Yeah. And then fix it again the next year. Dude, I could keep 2F in business, I think, by myself.
Yeah. So this was just an on a whim thing. Like you didn't take this after, because a lot of FD guys are kind of going into more truck related sports.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Motorsports.
Yeah,
in the
like
off season.
Like Vaughn will do the off-road. Amanda does the Hummer stuff, like, and they do it for the money and probably fun too, because I mean, they're getting paid, I'm sure. And dude, it's fun. It's just anything that I can get in and be an idiot. It's gonna be a lot of fun too. Like
I'm sure
I
it
would
keeps
do
your
some
reflexes up and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And it was a totally different kind of racing, man. I've never done circle track or anything like that. I'm like, I'm ready to buy a dirt car right now. Yeah, and the second one was on asphalt, which is actually more difficult because like tire conservation, real thing. Like, like I watch a lot of F1 and they're like, watch after your tires. I'm like, how the fuck do you watch after your tires? What do you mean? You want me to look out the window at them? Like, and I get it. Like you toss your car into a turn a little bit more aggressively, your tires heat up fast. Like it got to a point where like I started falling back in the race because I had to look after my tires. So I was in like 7th and I like dropped back to 12th because I just slowed down, like let the tires come back under me. But then, you know, lap 40, you know, pop, front right, like 6 cars popping front rights. And I'm like, we're back in 8th again. How about that? Yeah. So
smart man.
And you know, I heard Cletus say that in a couple of his videos. He's like, I'm just going to hang back in the back and look after my tires. And then when everybody else is
Yeah.
fucked in the last 10 laps, I'm coming for it. And I'm like, you know, Cletus is probably one of the best drivers in the world because all around, because he does so much. And he does so well at pretty much everything, which is stupid. So I'm like, he probably knows a thing or two. I'm going to listen to that. And it worked. Yeah. It worked because, I mean, I was on brand new GTs up front, but, you know, I didn't know how they would last and stuff. Like, I know how they last in drifting, but I didn't know how they'd last in a circle track. And
what were other people running?
Weird. A lot of dudes were running Falcon 617s or 615s or whatever they are. And those guys were really fast. They're like, he's like, yeah, I've had these on for like 3 races and they're still ripping.
Holy shit.
And I'm like, that's, you know, pretty impressive. I had a really good battle with a dude on those, even on the dirt.
Yeah.
And I was on like pretty knobbed up tires to try to have good traction on the dirt. Which did not do well on the circle track. I was 2 seconds a lap slower on the dirt tires that I had from the GTs. When we changed to GTs, they looked shitty because they're like low pros on a truck. And I'm like, damn, it looks ugly now. Yeah. But it was way faster, so I had to. Like we did a couple different things and we tried some stuff out, and that was the move. But yeah, I would say drift tires are going to be the way as far as the circle track stuff goes, because they usually last and they grip pretty well. If you competition drifting,
I still can't believe that you can just sign up for this. It's fucking crazy.
I literally, so you had to apply, basically just prove that you have a Ranger. I got on Facebook Marketplace and I screenshot a bunch of pictures of this Ranger. I didn't own a Ranger, but somebody on Facebook Marketplace did, and I applied using that, and I got approved. I'm like, boss, we got to go buy this truck. I was like, I'm leaving after work. I'm going to get it. Yeah. And I had plans to drive deep, like into Tennessee, to buy this like manual 4-liter truck. And dude was a bad communicator, which was kind of like making me hesitant. But it was a 7-hour one-way trip for me to go get this Ranger, and I was going to go there and back after work and go to work the next day. Like I was committed. And then my old boss called me. He's like, "Hey, this dude is the auto teacher at this high school, and I'm pretty sure they got a Ranger, and I'm pretty sure it's a 4-liter." I was like, "Shut up." And it's 3 minutes from my shop. And I was about to drive 7 hours for an $800 truck or 3 minutes for a $1,000 truck. Yeah. And
was the other one like technically in better condition from what you could tell?
No, I came out so good, dude.
Sick.
Like 99,000 mile truck. It had a bad fuel pump, and it was like a lady teacher that didn't have much to like go off of. So she just parked it and got something else. Damn. And
that's funny.
He's like, yeah, she wasn't going to change the fuel pump herself. And I'm like, I'm not dropping the tank in this thing. Pulled the angle grinder out, cut a hole in the bed, ran in no problem. When we drove it onto the trailer with brake clean, and a dude was literally like leaning over the side,
just spraying it the whole way up,
enough for me to get onto the trailer. It was comical. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, man. So all of this dumb turn of events and a lot of good memories. We got to go drive on Bristol, which was nuts. Fans were everywhere.
I still have yet to even be at Bristol, and I've lived in Tennessee my entire life.
So we went for an East 10 event, and we did like the parking lot events between the big circle track and the drag race, and I was blown away then. Going inside and being down in the barrel, dude. Like you just look around, cool, you're like, experience. Where am I? And how did I get here?
I'm in a new world.
Yeah. When you get, I mean, we've been to like good racetracks and stuff and fun racetracks, but you're never at a racetrack until you're like something like that. Yeah. Like my first time going to Texas Motor Speedway, you get in the infield by going in a tunnel.
Yeah, that's how like, super speedway is out here, and it's crazy.
I got a stacker trailer and a truck, and like you're like, my truck and trailer isn't going to fit in there. There's no way. And then I watched a Falcon tire truck drive through it, and I'm like, oh, I guess we're doing this.
I'm being a bitch. I'm going to do it anyways.
And then you get in there, and there's just grandstands everywhere, and they just don't stop. And you're like, oh my God, this is nuts.
That's exactly how I feel going into this one.
Yeah.
But it's like a large tunnel. Like it's not a very small tunnel.
Yeah, we've got a tunnel to the infield for a gateway, but you can't take trailers through it. Like they don't allow it. They're not big enough. So it's less crazy when it comes to that. But it is a huge, beautiful venue. But like Bristol was just insane because it's like you're down. Like imagine being at a sports arena, but way fucking bigger, dude.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like we had a ton of fans, and we didn't even fill up a quarter of the place. Imagine that there's NASCAR events that fill up the whole arena. That's
you gotta look around. Oh, wait, there's the spectators. Okay, sorry.
Exactly. Like they were just on like the one wall across from us, which was nice for entertainment for them at least, because you could pay attention to just one set of people.
Yeah,
For like Cletus, obviously not us, but yeah, no, it was fun. I would recommend it to anybody.
Oh yeah.
It was stupid. It was, for racing terms, low cost. You know, I'm probably, for traveling from St. Louis to Bristol, which is like 9 hours, and then St. Louis to Freedom Factory, which is like 16 hours. We're probably in it for, and the truck, maybe $8,000 or $9,000. And it was so fun.
Yeah.
You get to, I mean, I met a ton of good people
Yeah.
going to these things, and like made a bunch of friends. You get to be around, like, if you're into it, the YouTubers that like you look up to. A lot of those guys do that stuff. So it's cool.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
How much is the cost of one event compared to a regular grassroots event? Let's just say
It's $80 to drive. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so you can bring
no
whatever
extra
you want.
Got it.
Well, like,
Just the
I just
ticket.
mean, like, you wouldn't think that the entry fee would be that cheap. $80.
Yeah.
That's cheaper than a drift event. You don't have to buy
Way
a ton
cheaper.
of tires. So, I mean, travel's your expense, right?
Mhm.
I mean, we spent $600 on Airbnb, and then probably going to Freedom Factory is probably like $1,200 on fuel.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's your big expense. It's like $2,000 there. And then I think we drank Bradenton out of Busch Light that weekend. So that was another expense. But
it's always that one.
yeah, no, it wasn't bad. I would say $3,000 food, everything all in tops, whereas
Yeah, that's not
FD's
bad
like
at all.
8 to 10,000 a weekend. Yeah, that's a lot. FD's
Yeah.
expensive, bro.
And that's just
It'll get
ProSpec.
you.
So.
Yeah. Now imagine
Ooh.
doing it twice the amount of times. Your car costs twice the amount of money. to build.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm a little.
So you gonna do the truck stuff again next year?
Depends. Depends what our schedule looks like, I guess.
Yeah.
How many races we end up doing, and like that's same with Riverside and all that, you know. We'll see.
Fair enough.
We'll see. I mean, I would love to move up to pro, and that would pretty much eliminate all of that. Because, you know, like I said, I still got a full-time job. Luckily, it's my title sponsor. He's understanding.
Yeah.
But we only have 10 people. I play a big role there. Everybody plays a big role there.
Mm-hmm.
If one person's gone, there's a lot of disruption. So
Yeah.
he doesn't want me gone for all this time. And it was, the second race was actually the same week as Irwindale. So I wouldn't have been able to do that one anyways. And the first one was luckily just before the race season started.
I think there's a fucking ladybug in here.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I see it.
the cat's chasing it down right now.
Yeah, get him. Get him, dude. Oh, shit. Where were we at?
If I was going to do that race again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So if anybody wants to rent a truck next year, if I'm not doing it, call your boy. I'll rent it to you.
Shit.
cheap.
How
It's
much?
cheap. I don't know. We'll figure that out. I got to talk to the boss. He paid for it.
Nice.
Yeah. It's nice at expense.
Yeah, there you
I just
go.
got to reap the benefits.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Tax write-offs.
Yeah, exactly. Tax write-off, marketing, something like that.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I'll
There you
take
go.
it.
So what's your goal going into next year for FD specifically? What are you going to try to improve from this year to that next year?
I want to have a car that is not going to give me a fit for a single round. 2 years ago, I had that. Last year, I did not. We're building a new car, another S14, but we're going to do a better job. Better setup to make it more easy to work on, and make sure that our setup is dialed in before the first race. So we want to get the car done earlier than we did last time. Get out on the street and street drive it. My car's street legal, by the way. That's sick.
Nice.
I got plates insurance for it. We'll get it out on the street and do some like street driving with it. Make sure that it's not going to overheat or anything. Get it out to a track, do some testing. Hopefully with Hurst and Talaska, and a couple of us had talked about getting together in Donati, and just going out there and just playing the setups somewhere like in middle ground, probably Kilcare or something. That's the main goal for me. And if we end up moving up to pro, I want rookie of the year. If we stay in ProSpec, I'm winning the championship. So that's the goal for me, is like solidarity. You know, I want the whole week or the whole year to just go well. And that was our biggest hiccup this year. I added a lot of stress all around, stress back at home at the shop, when shit broke all the time, stress at the track when I was wrecking or breaking stuff or whatever. So 2 years ago, the car was just good. I got in, I drove it, I changed the oil. I didn't get the car out of the trailer. I changed the oil in the trailer and went to the next event.
Savage.
It was like, and we got second in the championship with a
Hey, dude, isn't that crazy how like you do the least and then somehow it ends up being the
Yeah.
best result?
here I spend so much money in the off season trying to make my car awesome because I was tired of overheating
Yeah.
and all this shit. And like we go and it's just like nothing but mayhem the whole first event. We're like, we were at the racetrack till 2 a.m. like messing with it.
Oh,
We put an electrical
no.
water. We sent the boys to Summit in Atlanta or north of Atlanta or something. It was like an hour and 10 minutes away to go buy
It's
an
not
electric
horrible,
water
but-
pump. And I'm sitting in the stands watching practice because the car's overheating and I'm just building a list. I built a cart and sent him a screenshot and I was like, this is all in stock at that Summit. I was like, go buy all these things, buy this hose, these fittings, this, trying not to forget shit.
Yeah.
Like, cause you know how it is. You buy some stuff for your car, you go to put it on, you're like, damn, I need this wiring or I need this or that.
Yep.
And like, I threw it all
Tiny
together
little things.
and we got everything. And I was almost not going to bring my AN hose cutters. And I was like, I'm bringing these bitches. And thank God I did because we had to do a lot of that.
I need to get a set of those.
But yeah, dude, game changer. The Vibrant one's like
Yeah.
$80. It was nothing. That's pretty
Oh,
cheap.
they're dirt cheap.
Yeah.
I haven't had to make an AN line recently, but
Yeah.
with the car needing to test, I'm sure I'm gonna have to make a couple.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I ever made an AN hose before this year.
Same.
I had one of my sponsors previously made my fuel system for me and put it all together. And all I had to do was just pay for the materials. And he did all the work for free. So I was like, that's sick.
cool.
And he's a smart ass dude. So I was like, cool. I don't know.
By
what I'm doing.
all means,
Please take it. And then I've been front rad the entire
Yeah.
time. So I've had no reason to change anything. Car's been the exact same for 4 years now. So it's now finally the expenses of doing all that. I didn't know how expensive it was going to be to do a rear rad. It was like $2,000.
Yeah, dude. Everyone that I've talked to that's done one, they're like,
Yeah, it was
over budget for that.
And I did the cheap Summit fittings and I've got a Summit account, so they're even cheaper. And I was like, damn, I did not expect this. I got a Summit brand radiator, Summit brand hose and fittings. I didn't skimp. I went with a derail fan setup, which was the money
That's
move,
nice.
dude. I had some smaller spalls and we got some bigger spalls last year, but like this year I'm like, dude, I guess technically
Ball out.
I guess the derail setup does use ball fans. But like we went with like the nice,
After dealing with overheating issues,
Yeah.
I would do the same.
and then we overheated again.
Oh,
Yeah. So once we got all that
Well,
shit
that'll
lined
hurt
out,
you.
it's like I've never been able to keep my car inline on grid ever until this year, which is fucking sick. All you guys are spoiled.
what?
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
What ended up fixing? Like,
Once we put the thermostat in after the rear rad.
oh, that's right. Yeah.
Because like I would come back from a battle, like in St. Louis last year. I don't know if you were there, but it was scorching hot. It was like 105. Like heat index was like
I've actually never
115.
been to an FD event
Really?
in person. Yeah.
Oh
no.
yeah, you don't like comp. You
Yeah.
should come to St. Louis. It's cool.
Well, Atlanta's 3.5 hours
Oh,
for me,
shit.
so I
It's
really need
way
to just
cooler
go
of a
to
venue
Atlanta.
too. Anyways, yeah.
Exactly.
And the venue's beautiful and it's just a rad experience overall.
And
It's different than
Utah.
all
I
of
got to
them.
go see Chair Slayer, so I
Okay.
want to use that as
He's
an
good,
excuse to go to FD Utah as well.
Honestly, yeah. And that is cool track. It's a beautiful track. Better racing experience in Atlanta, in my opinion, as a spectator.
That's fair.
It's just cooler, in my opinion. But yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll do these subscriber questions real quick.
All right.
Actually, my tuner, underworld.j.
Underworld J.
Where did your helm of VSKFs go, and what was your favorite round when you were in Pro-Ram?
Hi, Jay.
think
I miss
said
you.
that wrong.
I know Jay from years
You
and
do?
years ago. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
So he's a good dude. I sold them. God, I can't remember his name. I'm drawing a blank. Up in Iowa, I sold all 6 of them and my Serb 2s to them as well. I want to say they just drove down and bought everything. It's
Hung
so
up your hot boy coat.
Dude, I love cool cars, man. I want a cool car. I went into ProSpec, Pro 2 at the time, with this is how underprepared I was. I had 4 rear VSKFs, 2 front VSKFs, and a set of Serb 2s for the back. I had 6 drift spares going into Formula Drift. Yeah, not my best move. So, idiot,
All
by the
3Ps.
way. The wheels were like, for the 4 rears was like now this is going to timestamp it. $2,200 shipped because now they're way more than that.
Good luck.
And the fronts were like $700 for a pair because they were like 18/8, so it was like shit spec. But for WiseFab, that's what you got to have. And then the Serb 2s were like $800 because they were like 18x9s or something, so they weren't great either.
Yeah.
But I wanted to look cool, man. I was like, I know I'm not going to go out here and win my first year. Most people don't do that. I was like, I know my car's not great, but if I can look good as shit and catch some attention, well, the problem is I didn't catch any attention because I didn't compete one time because, no qualifying.
Yeah.
That was where my head was. And I had a deal set up with Koenig, but I ended up choosing the hot boy route because I think I had already had the fronts. And I was like, let's just invest a couple more of these. And I did have all of them. I was like, let's just invest in being hot boy just a little bit more and see if it pays off for us. And, I had so many compliments. Like Greg at CoverWorks, awesome dude. He immediately was just like,
I love Greg.
He's like, your car looks so fucking sick, dude. And I'm like, hell yeah, man. Thank you. So like, and that was at round 1. So I'm like, this is paying off already. I love this. But then I quickly realized that like, I'm batting way outside my wheelhouse here. I'm a, little league baseball player swinging at a pro pitcher right now. It was just, I had to pick what really was going to make sense for me. So getting on with Koenig, running, the wheels are lighter. They're not going to bend as easily. I know that sounds weird, but the flow from wheels are a lot stronger than I thought they were.
They'll bend properly.
Yeah, and you still use them. Yeah. Ask me how I know. Have used them. And, budget-wise, it made so much more sense. And, we've had a great relationship with those dudes, as you can see.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got it on.
That was just I made a bunch of changes that would like invest in my betterment, I guess. So like we had a T56 and I got my pro license without second gear and a T56. I went first to third. Everywhere. Yeah. It was wild. So me and my friend Joe rebuilt the trans a couple weeks before FD, and then reverse broke on our testing event because we reused the bearings, and like the bearing cage came apart because this specific bearing had a plastic cage. Yeah, and so we had to go back in and change it out. And everything was good, and the key, my car was too slow. It made like maybe 500 horsepower first year, and in the keyhole I had to downshift, and going from I guess 4th to 3rd. It would never go into gear. It would like lock itself out or like something because it's just a shit T56 trans. So we made the investment in a GSR. I didn't want a side shift. I was like, if we're going to spend $5,000 on a side shift, we're going to spend $7,000 on a top shift. We're just going to do it. Like at this point, you're already killing yourself. You may as well do it correctly. Best move I've ever made. If you're going to if you want to build a car that's easy to drive, when it comes to like not suspension and stuff like that, put a dog box in your car. If it's a drift only car, obviously if you're streeting it, don't do that. It's stupid. Yeah. But like if you're building like a drift car, like they're way stronger. They're going to last longer. You're not going to have to rebuild them as much. If you've got the budget, that is, and it makes sense for you, do it. Like, or if you're building a competition car, that's what I would prioritize. Now everybody tells me that quick change is what you should prioritize, but I can argue that all day. I've never had a quick change, and we've done pretty well. Yeah. We've done pretty well. We've got a lot of podiums.
I'm sure a quick change helps a lot.
I'm sure, But like being able to not have to think when you're shifting, because it's literally spring-loaded from 2nd to 3rd. So like in order to put it in 1st or 2nd, you got to pull over and then forward or back. Otherwise, it sits between 2nd and 3rd. So as soon as you push forward out of 2nd, it spring loads back over into the row for 3rd. So you just push, and it's like you don't have to think at all
for you.
And so you never have to worry about it coming out of gear. It's just it makes your driving so much more mindless, which is what you need. Because if you're focused on the wrong thing, you're gonna fuck up somewhere else. Yeah. So a quick change doesn't help you that much. It just puts you in the right ratio. Jay-Z guys need it more than anything. But us LS boys with real power.
Okay.
With real power all the way through the power band.
Turbo noises are better. I don't give a fuck.
They do sound fantastic. But
I can start mine. Let you hear it.
Dude, I'm an old RB boy. I got it. I hate it.
Got the blow off valve to the atmosphere, so it just
you have
spits.
You have to. But they do sound good.
So the second half of that one. Your favorite round when
Favorite
you were in
round of
Pro-Am?
Pro-Am. This one, I'm going to split hairs here. There's going to be kind of two of them. We went all the way to Northeast Pennsylvania to, what's the name of that track up there? They had FD in Pennsylvania like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Pro.
Okay.
I don't remember the name of the track. It'll probably come to me. Anyways, it was when MDU was in this like weird,
Someone will correct you in the comments.
yeah, weird section of like rebuilding. Tracks were like closing and stuff that we were using or something like that. And we ended up going up here to like Northeast Pennsylvania instead of like staying in the Midwest. And I got started my first podium, and that was sick.
Nice.
I got third place, and it was cool. I broke my clutch pedal, and I literally did my battle for third, and I had to start the car online to take off. Like my starter took me off. I pushed the gas to the floor, and I used the starter button, and that was how I took off. And I battled Hurst, and I was like, hey dude, I'm not sandbagging you. This is what's going to happen. And he was like, okay.
Thanks for the heads up.
And I handbraked without a clutch, which is again, no, but I didn't have one, so I couldn't. And like my boys like stuck like the clutch pedal like against the push rod to where like if I held my foot on it a little bit, it wouldn't fall off. So I was able to properly take off in my chase run instead of having to bump, so I could stick with them. So they're like, you get one clutch use. Like, that's it. Like, that's all you get. And I ended up having it for takeoff, and I slipped it through first so it would like stay on. And then I jammed third, and I didn't touch the clutch again until I stopped, and I just turned the car off. It was like a dumb situation. And when I won the battle, I was just like, what?
Oh, I can breathe now.
Yeah. And Jelani worked for Garrett Denton back then. And Jelani was like, that was the dopest shit I've ever seen in my life. Because in MDU, you literally just stand right next to the cars as they're taking off from the line. It was no care if you were a crew guy. It was awesome. And aside from that, when I got my pro license at Hyperfest, aka Wiperfest, because it rained the whole damn time. I don't have windows.
Oh,
I didn't have wipers.
No.
I did not have wipers on my car.
Rain-X the hell out of that windshield.
It was Rain-X and anti-fogged. And I had to borrow some anti-fog wipe from Sorensen's. And dude, it was awful, but like, you know, we beat some heavy hitters that day. And so that was exciting. Like Mike Perez was like the boy back then, and we beat him in battle. We beat Sorensen in battle. I don't even remember who else. We battled a lot of good people, and I made it all the way to the finals, battled Dustin Miles in the finals. And then I lost, but it was double elimination. So I went to the losers bracket final, and then I battled Sorensen again, and then he beat me then. Because I was just like, I already knew that I had gotten my pro license when I made it to the finals. So I'm just so jazzed out of my mind that I like couldn't focus on driving anymore. So that was definitely a peak memory. It was like my farthest road trip. You know, we drove 14 hours. VAR was beautiful. One of the most beautiful, probably the most beautiful track I've ever been to in my life. And it was just like so next level extra. And like, you know, I got to hang out with, like Kevin Lawrence is a good friend of mine, and you know, I didn't even know he was going. He's like, "Yo, like, let's go grab a beer afterwards."
Okay,
like, you drive awesome. I'm like, "Yo, sick, dude." So I got to hang out with all those guys, and it was just a good all-around weekend. So I'm just gonna pick that Hyperfest.
Hell yeah,
that's good.
That's fair.
Hyperfest is a sick event, anyway. So having it be pro-am was even better.
All right. So JC Motorworks, what keeps you going to continue on in drifting?
It's fun, man.
Yeah,
it's fun. Drifting is just like, you get an adrenaline rush like nothing else. I mean, I've never gone skydiving. I'm sure that's pretty wild too. But
yeah, I've done indoor, but
I've bungee jumped, but like on like a not fun scale.
Yeah,
I would rather bungee jump than skydive. It scares me a little bit. I'll probably do it in my life.
I want to skydive,
but I'll probably do it. I'm just being a pussy about it.
I am extremely afraid of heights, so that's why I want to do it.
I'm not, dude. I hear about these things like not deploying parachutes and stuff. That's a little scary, but there's the adrenaline rush from drifting is sick, and like the smiles on people's faces, like when you take them for the first time, especially in my car because it's just nuts. Like it's so gripped up so fast. I can run anybody's door pretty much as long as I've got a tire left under the car. And like I can give people an experience of a lifetime, and like seeing their faces when they get out of the car, I'm just like, how was that? And they're like, that was fucking awesome. Yeah. That shit's so cool. And it brings enjoyment for me, man. Like I have a hatch, an S13 hatch, and it's a dual cam KA. It's stock as a rock on Silver's coilovers, and ISR arms, no handbrake, no nothing. Dude, fuck yeah, dude. So awesome to drive. I've never driven
That's
a slow car
nostalgic
like that
drifting.
before, dude. Like whenever I had a KA before, I just streeted, which was like barely drifting.
Mhm.
And I streeted back roads at that, and it was a single cam, so like you really couldn't do much with
Yeah.
it. With my skill level anyways, you couldn't do much with it. And then I went straight into an SR and started doing events. So I never drove a slow car until I got this KA, and I'm like beating the shit out of the clutch and like
Do something.
tandeming with my friends and like getting gapped and like trying to strategically cut line and like catch back up. And I'm like, dude, why have I never done this before?
I think
It's
that's
so sick.
great when people do that, start that way though.
Yeah.
In a low power, it really teaches you how to be strategic.
It does. I don't know. There's such a double-edged sword, man. You know,
Yeah.
because like, hey, if you can afford to build a great car for your first
Oh,
car,
I
mean,
I'll always say that.
do you
If
know-
you get the money, go for it.
do you know David Mesker?
Yeah.
Okay, so
No wall of him.
yeah, so his first car was like an LS S13 that was nuts. They went and got it out of Texas and came back, and like that was his first car, and like, dude, fucking slays in anything he drives, and he started in a great car.
Yeah.
So it's like that's one side of things, but when you do start at the bottom, you do learn a lot of things that you may not learn when you have crutches like handbrakes and unlimited power and all that stuff. So all of those things are a crutch for sure.
Yeah.
But
I think you'll eventually still learn it.
Yeah,
It's just
you will.
You'll pick it up the finer details
Yeah.
in the beginning.
100%. And I mean, even I learned stuff drifting this KA car, and like I've been
Yeah.
drifting for 10 years, you know, but yeah, it's just different things that you haven't done before. And it's fun to have to try really hard to link a course. That's sick.
Yeah.
And like, it's something like I hear people talk about. I'm like, I mean, my car's so gripped up. I have to try too, you know, I just have all the grip in the car. And like, I've let people drive my car and they're like, dude, just like straighten down on me. I'm like, yeah, it's called grip.
Beat on it.
Touch the throttle.
Yeah. You gotta be committed, dog.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah. So I mean, our cars are hard as fuck to drive. Like, you can drive a Pro-Am car, or not, I'm not going to say Pro-Am car, a fun car 100 times easier than a
Yeah.
Formula Drift car, dude. I don't know if you've
I
ever
believe
driven
that.
one. My car's got so much toe when I'm driving in a straight line, my back end just hops back and forth. It's nuts, dude. I don't have a Wisefab kit in the back, so I don't have any progressive toe or anything, dude. I like run like 1.5 inch toe in the back. Yeah, car's fast as fuck, though.
Dude.
It's fast as fuck though.
I ran with when my Z was still factory VQ, I would run like 1/2 inch of toe in the back.
Yeah,
And then I actually eyeball aligned it with it the way it is right now and went out and drove it yesterday. And dude, that's exactly what you just said, where it just wants
Yeah,
to kick out
it's like,
everywhere. It's twitchy as
They're
fuck.
like, something's wrong with your car. I'm like, nope, just toe. Just toe. Yeah, it's insane. Definitely
yeah.
insane. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know where I was going with that.
Oh, we were just answering the question.
Yeah. Drifting is fun. That's
yeah.
why I keep going. It's fucking sick.
That's
why.
why any of us do it, truthfully. But this you got a weird name, buddy. Roar like a Ferrari.
He did media for me in Jersey.
No way.
Yeah, we
Tell him
got
to change
there.
his name. That's weird. That's weird.
My videographer got a kidney stone as soon as we got there
Oh,
and
no.
missed all of FD, all of it.
Oh, that sucks.
So luckily, they were buddies from like another event
Oh, well,
that
this
they
is
had shot
perfect.
together.
I'll apologize
Yeah.
for that then. I'm
And
sorry.
he came out and like introduced himself. He's like, "Hey, I'm filling in for Jason." We're like, "Dude, hell yeah, nice to meet you. Make yourself at home. You need some food, drinks. Like, just help yourself. Don't ask, just grab."
Yeah.
And he did awesome. Filled in for him, and like we were very appreciative of him.
Sick.
But yeah, good.
Well, he asked your favorite moment from 2023 season.
When it was fucking over.
Yeah. I figured that was coming.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I love the New Jersey racetrack. I had so much fun in New Jersey this year because Riverside was the week after. I stayed for like the week between, and I got to go to like Turn 14 distribution and do like a seminar for work there because I
Nice.
was going to be up there. They're like, you may as well make productive use of your time. I'm like, absolutely, let's do it. And so that was cool just to see the facility. It was just real nice and cool. And just hanging out with the boys up there doing some dumb stuff. 2 drift competitions within a week apart. Like Hopson was down there the whole time, so like we got to hang out a bunch. And I'm really tight with all the Jersey boys. Like any
Yeah.
PRI show or SEMO, like we're always hanging out together. They're all good dudes, and they're idiots like me. So it's we just have a great time. So
Just fits right in.
if I had to say it, I would say Jersey was probably the most fun just Jersey as a whole, not necessarily one particular moment, but the experience was good. The car ran good, drove good. Like I drove really well. Yeah, I mean,
I got to be there for the Riverside 50K.
And that was
That
fun.
was awesome.
I think I got sixth. I got sixth.
Yeah.
So we got money. That was sick.
Yeah.
I could afford to go home after that.
Reimburse some shit.
Yeah, exactly. I got the PayPal from Ryan, and my mom texted me. She's like, "Congrats, babe! Like you got some money at least." I was like, "Dad has it all. He's driving the rig home. Dad has it, so we can afford to get home now. We needed this."
You're just a few minutes too short. I already gave it up.
yeah, exactly. Like, I'm by myself dinner today. I went and me and Jason had hibachi.
There you go.
Okay,
dude. It's been a while since I've had hibachi. But all right, well,
I'm getting hungry over here.
Oh, there you go.
Hungry.
Well, what's your best piece of advice for anyone getting into drifting? The last question of every podcast.
The best piece of advice for anyone in drifting: listen. Just listen to people around you. You know, if you're just getting into it, you're new, you don't know everything. Like, we all have those moments of like, don't tell me what to do. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But like, just listen to people. Like, I have a ton of experience, and I see new people come in all the time, and they'll ask me for advice, and I'll give it to them, and then they don't do it, and then they regret it. Yeah. And they spend thousands of dollars or whatever, or
going down the rabbit
bad happens or something. Yeah, just listen to your peers, man. I mean, in drifting, that's the cool thing about drifting is everyone wants the best for each other. So like, I'll give you advice that took me years to learn, so you don't have to go through that bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, listen to people, man. I mean, set your car up the way you want to. I mean, when it comes to that, you don't necessarily have to listen to like me say you should build a race car or you say you should do this. You don't necessarily have to listen to that, but yeah, listen to people's advice. You know, they just want to help.
Yeah, soak in as much info as you can and
exactly
make your own decision.
How many new car threads are out there? Listen to those guys. Buy a seat, buy welded diff, handbrake if you want. You know, that's an argument that people have all
Pick
day
the
long.
Basic stuff that everyone's collectively saying, and all the random stuff that everyone throws in, just leave those out for now.
Yeah. Listen to the basics and the important stuff.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh,
that's weird advice, I feel like. It's probably an answer
that was a unique answer.
Yeah, you probably
that I haven't gotten
a lot, but if I could do it again, I would ask a lot more questions because I was like shy and to myself.
That's how I was.
And I didn't say shit to anybody for my first like year or two, besides other people that didn't know anything. So we were all just kind of learning together.
That's why I started this, because I learned more from like just listening to people talking in a group setting where like, dude, if I didn't know the term for something, I wouldn't speak up at all. I would wait until someone said it. And then I would either go home, look it up, and then figure it out myself, or just wait until someone explains it and I can hear it.
Yeah, and like Drift STL, our like local deal, they started to come up with a program. It was like almost like a mentorship program where like they asked a bunch of us like vet drivers, like if we would be open to helping new guys out, and like you could like sign up essentially for like one of the veterans that you want to take advice from. Like Andy Lewis was an FD for a long time before me, or for a couple of years, I guess, running Pro 2, and he still rips with us all the time just for fun now. And like there's all kinds of veterans that have never really pursued comp that are also awesome, and I don't think we ever ended up doing anything with it, but like that would be a sick idea, you know? So like these new dudes, it doesn't have to be weird because it's set up. It's not you walking up to some random trailer and being like, hey, man, I got a question, because a lot of people are just nervous doing that. Rightfully so, dude. Yeah. Rightfully so. I mean, I'm weird about that. And I'm not shy at all, but I still feel weird.
You're very weird about it, especially if they're driving.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to interrupt or like
I won't interrupt
take
anyone
them from their friends or family or whatever. And like, yeah, but so, I mean, something like that would be sick. Like a mentorship program. I mean, it's a lot to mentor somebody like full time, but just like local events, if you're not driving or whatever, just like let these dudes come out for free to give some advice to people. I can't go for a ride along. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I get sick as shit like immediately. But I'll watch and tell you what I think you can do better.
I'm just not a big fan of going on ride alongs, so I feel you.
Yeah. I've done it a couple times, but like almost every time I'm just like jerked back and forth. I'm like, I'm freaking car sick,
get me out.
Yeah, I'm good here. I did that. Have you ever been to NOLA Motorsports Park?
No.
I went to EYB. My friend Ryan Martin used to be like a big shot at the track there. He's like, dude, come drive my 350Z. Come drive it. I'm like, all right, sick. And he's like, I'm going to drive my, I think it was RX-7 or S13 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, follow me out first lap. And I've never even seen a lap on the track. I literally walked into the venue, walked into a shop. He put me in the car and was like, cool, let's get on grid. I'm like, let's go, baby. And,
if you say so.
Yeah, exactly. And we go down the front stretch, and it's like first, second, third's higher up. We're at the top of fucking third gear. We throw a Manji entry, and like, I've never seen this, like Manji one way and then toss it back, and like big feint entry. I'm like fourth car in a train. I've never driven this track in my life. I'm like, these dudes are nuts, man. And he put me in the passenger seat of the 350Z, and like, just, it made me so sick. He's like, here's the line that I do it. You might be able to do a little bit better if you know the right line. And I'm like, sick. And like,
I didn't even see any of that. I'm sorry.
What just happened, but I'm going to go throw up the beer that I had before that lap. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess if you want to plug yourself or plug any people, companies, anything like that.
Yeah. Follow me on Instagram, please. My sponsors love it. My Instagram's Derek_Madison. Yeah, dude. Goes a long way.
On the screen, in the description.
We appreciate it a lot. And no, honestly, just a big thank you to specifically my family and my friends, because this whole FD shit would never be possible. My dad drives my race rig. My mom feeds the team. My team does his shit for free. Like, they pay for their flights to get there, all of it. So big shout out to my friends and family for that shit. That shit's so good. I will forever be in debt to these motherfuckers, dude. Yeah. Forever. And thank you to all of my partners, obviously, that support us doing this, because without them, I know it sounds the cliche answer, but for me especially, without them, I can't do this. So honestly, I mean, the main ones, Fuelab, Motor State, Silvers, for him, I'm going to forget. Like, those are like the ones that I think I have like some of the closer relationships with. Status.
We've talked the boy. A lot about the important stuff. So
I love those guys, man. Yeah. And if it wasn't for them, I'd be a big sim drifter, dude.
Sim championships, dude, all the way.
Yeah, that's me with my G920 clapped out steering wheel that sounds like it's going to fall apart every time I drive.
At least you got a sim. I don't.
Dude, I got it for $120 on Marketplace.
Yeah, no. Because for me, I just have to get like a Fanatec one. Yeah. Something that's a little bit more realistic.
Yeah, at
just
minimum,
irritate me too much.
A good Thrustmaster. Those are pretty solid. You can still drive and have a good time on those. But like G920.
I just hate video games so much as is that if I try and play on a shitty console, I'm going to be furious, dude.
My friend Michael went all out, and he bought a Fanatec setup, and then he had like an old BMW interior, and he like made like a full thing with like the interior and everything. And he like carpeted it and like put everything in like factory location and stuff. And I drove his, and I'm like, this is the best shit ever. He like put AC in his and stuff too. I'm like, dude. The
wind ducts and stuff.
I was like, dude, you are way too good at this shit. And so I made him make me one. So I got this like dope ass rig in my bedroom, and it's S14 dash. Everything's in the same position as my like FD car, and I got like a G920. It's like a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's the only reason I want a sim is to build one of those.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's the coolest shit ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking sick.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I guess that pretty much wraps up this one.
Sick,
so
dude.
Do you have anything else you want to mention?
No, dude. Just thanks for having me, man. Happy to be here.
I appreciate you coming.
Excited to see what the next season brings for us, and hopefully we'll have some cool announcements coming out.
Oh yeah.
For whatever that may be here real soon, but things are looking pretty good for us. So
that's good.
I'm excited.
Well, we'll bring you back on after 24.
I'm about
Check in with you.
I'm down. Come back to Nashville. I need an excuse to wear my cowboy hat again.
There you go.
Throw
on the cowboy boots.
Goes to Nashville once, becomes cowboy. And then leaves and goes back in all black again.
Yep. No, I just go up there in all black. I hate Nashville. I hate it so much.
It was fun. You know, I've never been, so I wanted to experience it.
Yeah, no, if you've never been, definitely go experience it. But I've been there too many times in my life.
Yeah. Well, we've been trying to make this happen for a while, and I just never have money. And like now the season's over, I'm like, take my girlfriend down, we make a weekend.
We've dealt with enough shit this year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, good times.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I guess if you're still here, go ahead and look below the video and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit the bell notification so you are always updated with every episode. But that's pretty much it. So see you every Sunday, each week with a new episode.
Thanks for watching, guys.
To the ceiling. Trust no bitch, can't catch no feelings. I've been taking long flights from the Bay to Ibiza. Hit home runs, I'm a ball like Jeter. I just want 4, then I leave her. I'm a young pop star, call the boy Justin Bieber. Got a little money if you want.